Let's talk to Ryan Littlestone. He's a trader and an analyst at Forexflow.live. Very good morning to you, Ryan.
Good morning, Nick.
Right, we've got three currency pairs to run through. Let's kick off with the first one, the Euro US dollar, a 15-minute time frame. What are you thinking?
That pretty much sums it up, the time frame I'm looking at the moment. We're not doing an awful lot. We're stuck between sort of 122, 123 for the last few days, for most of last week, in fact. And, you know, it's again, we've spoken about this before, it's a sign of the lower volatility we're seeing in markets now. We've had the little gap up this morning, you know, when Asia opened over the German news that the SDP finally put through the blueprint for the coalition talks. And that brought us, you know, a 40 pip jump, and it spent the rest of Asia unwinding that. So we're not really going anywhere at the moment. Trading wise, you've just got to stick to the edges in intraday range, and that's 122, 123. You know, you can be a buyer into sort of 122.10 with a tight stop under, say, 90, and the same on the top side. You know, sell it into 122.95. Again, with a stop, you know, somewhere around 123.20, and when you get markets like that, you just pick the edges and stick with those.
Understood. Let's move on to dollar yen daily chart. Any observations here?
Pretty much the same pattern. You know, we're sitting at the moment 111, 110. There's a lot of focus on this 110 level though, because it's shaping up to be a pretty big level. There's some big buy orders down there. There's a big option barrier down there as well, which has been protected recently. We've got a fib level down there at 110.15. Lots of stops said to be floating around the area, and it's a level that's just not disappearing off the radar. You know, we tried moving away from it, and it's just not happening. We keep slowly edging back towards it. So it's going to be something to watch. Could be some fireworks.
So big chart point. Okay, let's wrap up with cable. Again, back to a 15-minute chart. This looks quite bullish, isn't it?
Yeah, at the moment it is, and we're seeing a decent double top put in place, you know, around that 139.40 area last week. We've had talk this morning. There's a potential barrier option there as well at 139.50, which would explain why that 40 level has been so hard to get over.
Right.
That's just chatter. We haven't had any confirmation. What we have got confirmation of is a big barrier up at 140. That's a big psychological level. And pretty much the same as...
Sorry, for anyone sort of trading this for the first time, when you say a barrier, is this natural resistance in a market where the sellers are coming in, or is it something more complicated than that?
It's an actual option play. You know, we every day we get the vanilla options, you know, calls and puts, which expire daily.
Right.
They can have an influence on the market if they're large in size.
Okay. And these OTC options, right? So if they're expiring every day. So these are key sort of technical levels where the options will kick in if they're calls or puts based on markets breaking up or indeed breaking down.
Yeah, as I say, we have the vanilla options which expire every day. So every day we produce a report that shows exactly what's expiring, and that can have a magnetic effect on the market around you know, 3 o'clock London time or GMT. But barrier options are different. They only remain in play if the level isn't touched. So you usually find them, you know, sort of above or below current market prices. And what you do find is that they're heavily defended. And if they're big enough, then whoever's holding them, and also the writer has interest to either keep that price from not touching the barrier or from touching it and knocking it out worthless. So you can get a battle when you get to these big levels, and you often see, like we're saying with this 139.40 level in cable, you know, if we've got a big barrier at 139.50, you know, the holder's coming in, it's saying, right, the price is getting here, so I'm going to sell this because I don't want my barrier to be knocked out.
Understood. Okay, so that's pretty clear for the people. So basically natural resistance in the market because people are protecting an options position. Short term, do you see sort of cable moving above this sort of 138, 139, 140 area?
Yeah, it's got the potential to do so, you know, but it's a question of timing. You know, we keep seeing the price come back up. You know, we got into 138. That was a potentially big break. You know, the dips have been fairly shallow and well bought in. So that gives you, you know, a view of where the market's looking at this. And it has got the potential to push higher. You know, with the US government shutdown, that's not really that big a market event because we've been here before, but it's yet another feather in the cap for the bearishness we're seeing in the dollar in general. So while that's in play, you've got to look at the upside of the pairs like the euro and the pound.
Understood. Ryan, as always, thank you very much indeed. We'll talk to you same time next week. That's Ryan Littlestone, trader and analyst.